two blood-fat zero respect for Lestat. These vampires. And yes, you can be beat Lestat. Can I cry and say I'm sorry too? They came for a performance and she was going to give them one. Claudia is undoubtedly a tour de force. The child vampire who never asked for the dark gift. She lived longer with it than she ever did without it. But hers was a life of deep love and brutal tragedy. Betrayed, hurt, shut out, stunted and trapped, Claudia finally claws her way to a taste of true happiness and companionship, only to have it ripped away and cut tragically short. She was forged in the savage garden and adopted savagery early on. Welcome to my channel, my name's Bissy, and in this video we'll discuss what are, in my opinion, Claudia's most savage moments, and the reasons why I think she has the most tragic story in the show. If you haven't watched the show or read the books, then please know that this video is basically one massive spoiler, so here's your spoiler warning. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Let's start with the first time Claudia made me audibly gasp. In an argument with Louis at the end of season 2, episode 2, Claudia says, now, let me get ready for this. Claudia says, now I know what two blood-fat slapping hands feels like, so thank you for that. And yep, that's Claudia slapping her hands together as she says it too. As a side, just look at Louis' face when she delivers this line. Absolutely brilliant. So this line comes at the end of an argument Claudia and Louis are having the night they meet the Paris Coven. Claudia has finally found what they have been searching for years, the reason they came to Europe in the first place. She has finally found other living vampires, a community. And because of his fear that they will be found out, Louis is arguing that they need to leave Paris immediately. So I've got to tell you, there's not much that makes me clutch my pearls nowadays, but I did reach for them after this. I mean, it was just so unexpected, but I love that she said it, and I love the way she said it too. She went there to illustrate her point to Louis, who at that point was just not getting how much she needed this. For the first time, she stands her ground and says, I'm going back. I want more. And then later, I want to be on my own. Don't ruin this for me, Louis. I need this. Just brilliant. Next was when Claudia says during her trial, can I cry and say I'm sorry too? Even in the face of the enormous, if reciprocal, betrayal and the certainty of a death sentence, Claudia can see right through Lestat and the hypocrisy of the situation she's in. Lestat had just monologued about how he had hurt Louis and the fact that he wanted to hurt him, and what he did hurt him. And yet, he was the star witness in her trial. Was Lestat dropping Louis from a height of 2 kilometers not attempting murder too? He admitted intent, no? Louis lived, and so did he. Both Lestat and Claudia were unsuccessful in their attempts. So why are the rules different for him? Why is there one rule for her and another for Lestat? It reminds me of the scene in that Netflix documentary, The Perfect Neighbour. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen it. I literally couldn't believe my eyes when I heard the policeman actually bargaining with a murderer and thanking her for agreeing to being arrested. Like, in a world where children in their school uniforms are being wrongly stopped, searched and arrested on the streets as a result of mistaken identity due to biased facial recognition software here in the UK, this woman is being thanked for her cooperation. So yeah, I feel Claudia's indignation with this line. I feel it really deeply. Before Claudia leaves for those 7 years, she breaks and finally says to Louis, but I was breathing. It hurts every time I think of this line. Claudia is lost. She has been in the storm of adolescence for years, and there is no end in sight. It will never end. She is kept in the dark and always on the outside of this couple. This is despite Louis' immense love for her. Of her 2 parents, she knows that Louis loves her the most, and it is to him that she finally expresses just how painful her existence is. All of the what ifs, everything she will never be or have. And for what? Yes, she was burnt the night of the fire. She had inhaled a lot of smoke, but she was alive and she was breathing. Why not take her to the hospital? Why was ending her life and condemning her to an immortal existence the better option for her? Well, the simple but painful answer to that question is that it wasn't for her. Louis took her home for him, his guilt, his helplessness in the face of the consequences of his own actions. From the start, it was never about her. And that's not even mentioning the circumstances of her changing in the book. Woof. So Claudia expressing to Louis just how painful it is that he never actually gave her a chance is savage, but not nearly as savage as what Louis did to her. The savagery continues when Claudia says, "This is not a trial, it's a stoning." Louis says to Daniel that Claudia took the air right out of the room with that one. And honestly, she took the air right out of me with that line too. Claudia is nothing if not astute. So when Madeline asks, "Are we on trial?" Claudia cannot comfort Madeline in this moment. They are beaten, immobilized, and exposed on the stage in front of a live audience. And instead of lying to the person she loves, she answers with painful honesty. Honesty that she herself had rarely received. In a mock trial of lies that will ultimately cost them their lives, Claudia speaks the truest truth. With that one line, she avoids pleonasm and expertly conveys that they are there to be executed. And these people, sat there watching, are all there to enjoy their demise as entertainment. It's brutal but honest, and Claudia wields her honesty like a superpower, right in the faces of her executioners. The housewife and the mistake. After losing Charlie, the first love of her life, something breaks within Claudia, and she turns inward and begins to search for her own companion. When she is caught, she's like a trapped cat, and she strikes back right at Lestat. "You deny me one love when you've got two?" Claudia knows exactly what she's doing when she drops this line and exposes Lestat's affair. 1. She highlights the fact that he's been lying to them as a family. They promised no secrets. And 2, she knows that she can shift Louis' anger onto Lestat with that one line. And she does. That's the end of it. Lestat now has to focus on apologising to Louis and trying to mend what Claudia has just exposed. She means what she says. She wants that one love for herself. She knows 2 other vampires in this whole world, and they are obsessed with each other, for good or bad. And she is facing eternity on the outside of that. So why should Lestat have 2 and deny her even 1? I get it. I do get it. But it was savage. Claudia tosses Antoinette's finger in the fire. Now, it may seem like a really bratty thing to do after Lestat had just supposedly killed one of his loves, because of the condition that she had set. But whilst we're speaking about Antoinette, Claudia simply couldn't give 2 shits about her. She believes Lestat has finally kept his word and ended Antoinette. The souvenir wasn't the finger itself, no, it was the ring. Lestat gave it to her as proof, and a sick kind of gift, I suppose, as he remembered that Claudia kept souvenirs before she left them during her killing spree. But Claudia kept all sorts of souvenirs. The last words of her victims were souvenirs too. But let's not forget that Claudia was simply trying to make a companion with all of these kills. Yes, she enjoyed the killing, as something did break within her after Charlie's death. That's not to say that she didn't enjoy it before. But no matter how misguided, there was always a reason. So the finger itself has no value to Claudia. But the ring? Well, she can wear that ring whenever she likes. She can enjoy the pain it will cause Lestat to see his love's ring on Claudia's finger. And she can do this whenever she likes. This is just my opinion, by the way. But I do think that that was her motive for tossing the finger. And doing it right in front of him too. Claudia won't finish the chess game. Claudia knows exactly what she's doing by ending the match when she did. It had just dawned on Lestat that she had defeated him, something that Lestat thought was impossible. She wants that knowledge to sit with him for as long as possible. The look that Claudia gives him seems to say, yes, you can be beat, Lestat, and I can be the one to do it. The child, the mistake, too right. But the mistake is yours, Lestat. All yours. So incredibly savage. And Lestat does not take this well. Not at all. Not at all. In his rage, he misses what is actually happening here, in my opinion. And that is, of course, the trait in Lestat that Claudia exploits to finally end his reign of terror on their lives, as she sees it. I now know all your faces. My word, these vampires and these humans too, right? Claudia is done. She has fought her entire life, and now all that's left is her fury. She can't stop what is inevitable. Fine, she accepts that. But like the absolute savage that she is thinking ahead. You have won this round, but it's not over, and I'm not done with you. I hold each and every one of you responsible for this, and will finally get my revenge in death. She is about to leave the only life that she has known, the savage garden, and faces the next phase, the complete unknown, with defiance. She will not let go, and she made sure that absolutely no one will ever forget the horror that they have participated in today. Lestat is like a dog to Claudia now. She has zero respect for Lestat at this point, and even his words, without Louis present, are just too much for her. She cannot stand him. As a side, Claudia and Lestat's respective relationships with Louis run parallel and reflect each other in a somewhat foggy mirror. What I mean by this is, Claudia puts Louis back together piece by piece for 6 years after Lestat physically broke him. And just as they fall into a smooth, happy rhythm, Louis still invites Lestat back into their lives. Conversely, after Claudia left them, Lestat spent 7 years enduring Louis' self-pity, the sulking, the isolation, the compromises. And Claudia walks through that door, and Louis, within seconds, is considering leaving Lestat and going with Claudia. Lestat, Louis and Claudia are dancing a complicated and delicate dance at this stage of their lives. Claudia can only endure so much. She is unable to hide her disdain for Lestat and refuses to even try when Louis is not around. The slapping of her book closed? Well, that is the fullest of full stops in my opinion. Claudia sings in defiance and looks at Lestat at the end. As the sunlight hits Claudia and Madeleine, Claudia sings to the audience. They came for a performance and she was going to give them one, right to the end. As the sun rays do their work and Madeleine and Claudia disintegrate, Claudia turns and looks Lestat dead in the eyes, never stopping her song. She will not allow Lestat to avoid what he has done. By maintaining eye contact, she ensures that the image of his burning daughter will be burnt into his mind forever. This is the second time he has taken her life, and although they had hurt each other in unspeakable ways, his move had resulted in not just her demise, but Madeleine's too. He has finally taken everything. Now he has to look at what he has done. This is the cost. Claudia's ghost stays with Lestat. We see from the clips of the Vampire Lestat trailer that the image is indeed burned into his mind. And he now has to live with that every single day. So in the end, did he really win? Lestat's last words in blood. The season finale of part 1 is a wild ride. Claudia executes her plan perfectly, the same way she did in her victorious chess match against Lestat. She thought of absolutely everything, and in the end, Lestat learned that you should never underestimate Claudia. I couldn't believe it when I saw Claudia dip that pen into Lestat's neck and write his last words in his own blood. Put me in my coffin, Louis, Louis. The entire scene was shocking and sad, but that really left me speechless. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really enjoying making these videos, so if you're enjoying watching them, please do think about subscribing and also joining me in overthinking in the comments. I seriously can't wait for the Vampire Lestat to start, and I know a lot of you are waiting just as impatiently as I am. So in the meantime, let's go on this ride together. Thank you. Bye.